Welcome fight fans, my name is John Ferguson. We're here this afternoon at the Melbourne Parkview Hotel. Australian Promoter of the Year, Mr. Nadji, here to talk about Rebellion Muay Thai number 7, the FitX Expo Eliminator number 2. Thanks for coming along.
Thanks, Bushy.
Mate, it's a big eliminator we've got coming up. We've got 4 fighters from interstate, 4 of the best fighters, and a huge undercard.
Yeah, last year we had our first foray working with Tony Doherty at FitX, and we had the 8-man. This year we've gone for the bigger boys at 70 kilos. Just with timing wise and a few of the other fighters who were booked out, we've gone to a 4-man eliminator this year. Some big names, as you mentioned, all interstaters, and we've backed it up with a state of origin battle between Victoria and New South Wales.
You're really bringing Muay Thai to the fore here in Australia, but the 4-man eliminator, we've got Malad, the young gun fighting out of Western Australia. We've got Kim Johnson, the Australian WMC champion. We've got Rhys Saliba from New South Wales and Anthony Foy from Queensland. That is a stacked 4-man eliminator.
Yeah, all those guys we've wanted to see at Rebellion in Melbourne before. Obviously, we've had the pleasure of having Kim Johnson on twice. He's taken both fights on really short notice. So in the ring, after his last fight, I promised him I'd give him some notice this time. So he's had a couple of months. He's in Thailand training. Milad's been one of those guys that, like yourself, I've been wanting to see in Melbourne for a very long time. Unfortunately, he was under 18. He's turned 18 now and he can come out and fight. He's been over in Thailand training full time. He's had a few big fights. He's really pumped up to go. Rhys Saliba, again, one of those guys that he's always on that brink of being one of the top 70 kilos in Australia. We were actually trying to get him out here to fight Sam Etney on Rebellion 1, and just scheduling wise it didn't work out. Kim Johnson took the fight and the rest is history. And obviously Anthony Foy, trained by Victorian fight legend Anthony Vella, fighting out of Queensland. Again, one of those guys who's fought on Evo and a lot of big shows. Really keen to get him out. It's really exciting.
Anthony Foy, the last 12 months, has had a big 12 months, taken some big names. So a lot of Victorians probably aren't too aware of the capabilities of Anthony, but let me tell you, fight fans, this boy can fight. And we've got the technicians. We've got Rhys is very technical, Kim's very technical, Malad, the young fella, he brings it all. I've had the pleasure of seeing most of these guys fight live. You've done an excellent job.
Thank you. And this year they'll be, obviously with the 4-man, they're only fighting twice, but the first round's a 3-rounder. The main event's a 5-rounder, so the boys will be fighting potentially up to 8 rounds. Every round full Thai rules like we have on every show. So yeah, anything could happen. I think the weigh-ins at the Melbourne Parkview the night before, where we do the draw, that's going to be a big factor to see who matches up against who first.
Speaking about the Melbourne Parkview Hotel, we're here today, and it's a beautiful venue here in St Kilda Road. Being great supporters of you, I believe they've got a deal going for anyone flying from interstate.
Yeah, the last 4 shows, the team have been really supportive of us. All the fighters will be staying here. It's a great hotel, 4.5-star hotel. And we'll also be having the weigh-in, the draw for the 4-man, and a little press conference the night before on Thursday, the 6th of March at 7 p.m. So everyone's welcome. And obviously all the guests flying in to see their favourite fighters and see the show. There's a great deal being offered. We're only sort of minutes away from the venue, so you can't get a better spot, close to the city, close to St Kilda. The guys are offering twin accommodation, $165 a night, including buffet breakfast, late checkout and car park. So all you need to do is just give the guys a call. I'll give you the phone number. I'll just make sure I give you the right number. It's 9529 8888. Make sure you mention Rebellion Muay Thai, and that's between the 5th of March and the 10th of March. So yeah, be in the same hotel as the fighters, hang out with them. Short stroll to Melbourne City Centre, St Kilda, and of course the venue.
Yeah, really looking forward to it. And so we've got a massive stacked undercard, as you said, a state of origin undercard, Victoria versus New South Wales, 8 fights if I'm...
That's correct. It's actually quite funny because as you're matching it up, you don't realise these things. And Andrew Parnham, one of the Sydney trainers, mentioned, look, it's turning out to be a real state of origin, and it has. And I think it's going to be the first one I know of in Muay Thai. 8 Victorians taking on 8 New South Welshmen. And women, because May's fighting on it too. And yeah, that's going to be really exciting. A lot of guys coming from New South Wales that I've wanted to see on this show. And also we've got some of the guys I've always fought on Victoria, some of the big Victorian names. Dan Smirk, Alexi, who's fought on a few Rebellions now, Chris Harrington, Ben White, Pat Richards, Richie Fanu, of course. Yeah, Hamza, who had a great fight on the last show. May having her first fight on Rebellion. You would have seen her on the Warriors Way 4 women event. She's a great fighter, so she's fighting an undefeated girl from Andrew Parnham's gym. So it's a really stacked card. Some of the Sydney guys you've seen before. There's a matchup there, Scott Wilson, and Chris Harrington. That's been a fight that's been meaning to happen for a long time, and Butcher's got twice as many fights as him, but the Sydney boys are confident they're going to win. They were willing to bet their purse on it, so it's a big fight.
That says a lot. Look, you're certainly doing great things for Muay Thai here, and we're at the FitX Expo as well, down at the Melbourne Exhibition and Convention Centre. Do you want to give us a bit of an insight into the Expo?
Yeah, so the Expo this year is going to be the biggest one yet, and last year was our first time there. There was a few teething problems, obviously, with the venue, starting a bit later, all those things happened. I spoke to Tony and the team, and we've made it so much better than last year. Last year was an amazing card, but the access to the venue, what time we get to start, the layout so that only our ticket holders really get to see the action. There's a bar this year, which is great. We don't have to start at 6 p.m. We can start at 7:30. We have our own entry, so it's going to be amazing. Rebellion also has a 3-day stand over the weekend there. So if you're after more information on Rebellion Muay Thai, you can come and check us out. But all around, it's going to be amazing. Plus, everyone who gets a ticket to Rebellion gets a 1-day pass to the FitX Expo. So you can come back on a Saturday or Sunday, watch all the bodybuilding, the strongman, all the fitness stuff. There's boxing demos, kickboxing demos, anything you might be a fan of, they've got it on offer. So it's going to be a huge event, and we're really lucky to be part of it again.
So it's really good that you do join forces with the Expo, because it gives just people in the general fitness industry plenty of scope. If they're interested in the fight's great, but as you said, you get that extra 24-hour bonus as well. So it's really bringing the sport together. Yeah. As you said, last year a few teething problems, but you learn as you go on, as you do with your shows, and your shows keep going from strength to strength. So really looking forward to this 4-man eliminator and the stacked undercard.
Thanks, Bushy.
All right, thank you. And pretty soon we're going to have a chat to Alexi Petroulias.